friends, welcome to Wildflower Farm, and we are doing an update on the million garden beds I put out there. Not really a million, more like 10 or 11. It's a lot, but let's start on the seedlings behind me and take a look at what's going on with them. Everybody's been loving being outside. We got our tomatoes up here. These are the Amish paste tomatoes. They kind of got dumped over. These will be going in the donation garden. So these are strictly for giving away. And I have room over there. I've got like 400 square feet that these will be planted in. These are giant marigolds. Now I put them in these non-woven bags. You can find them at the link in my bio. They call them biodegradable bags. They're not biodegradable, but the plant's roots do grow through them. So a lot of times if I'm going to sell seedlings, I'll put them in these bags. That way the person can just pick them up and plant them in the ground just like that. And I don't have to buy a bunch of plastic pots that I'm never going to see again. These are also giant marigolds. These are going to go in my garden. Not sure what I'm going to do with them. I'll be planting them out in the field out there somewhere. These are Amish paste. These are going in the donation garden. And more giant marigolds. These are collard greens that are supposed to go in the donation garden. The donation garden is not quite ready. Here's some zinnias. Only got one germination on the green zinnias. Purple zinnias I replanted, and I just made an order from Baker Creek and got more zinnia seeds, purple zinnias. So I will probably, those are older seeds, they're a couple years old, and I saved them myself, so they may not have amazing germination. So I'm gonna go ahead and replant with the seeds I just got because I really want some purple zinnias this year. I'm just gonna put them in the garden just to dot around the garden to be pretty. I also bought some Cosmo seeds, and we'll talk about those at the end of this video. So back to the seedlings. These are Romas that I had saved the seeds from. They had fine germination, but they're a little spindly. They've been a little weird. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with them. I might just pot them up and see if I can sell them a little later in the season. These are bell peppers that are meant for the production garden. Didn't get great germination on them. Probably will have to buy more seeds, but they will go out as soon as we've got that tilled up. These are leeks, and they're supposed to just be mine. And I got 3 germinated. Not great. This is catnip. Not sure where the tag went for it. Still such a horrible, they're just not right. The arugula was seeds I saved and they didn't germinate. That's fine. Thai basil that I got from Baker Creek doing amazing. Green zinnias from a couple years ago from Burpee, I think, doing amazing. These are, what were these? These might be my buttercup squash. They are. And these are those collards. I had horrible germination with them last year. So I went ahead and planted the last 8 and only 3 germinated. I'm happy to have it. I was surprised that I had planted them twice last year. And I planted like 4 or 5 of them. None of them germinated. And I was really disappointed, but this year, I don't know, 3 out of 8. There's my butter crunch lettuce. It's not dry. It's just sad. I don't know why it's so sad. I have a spot in the front that I need to prepare. We'll go look at that in a minute. This was a salad mix that was old seeds. This I got from Baker Creek. Germinated great, never really took off. So I'm not sure what the problem is. I will try to transplant them into the front and see. More giant marigolds. These are yellow squash for the donation garden. Had great germination on them. These are loofah. I can put those out today. I really had horrible germination on them. Only got 2 out of 4, I think, or 6. I don't remember how many I planted, but not great germination. But the 2 that I have are pretty good, so I'll go ahead and put them out. These are Georgia candy. Still haven't figured out where I'm going to plant them. That's kind of an experiment this year. These are butternut, tiny little honey nut. No, what are they called? No, these are honey nut because they are miniature butternut squash. That's what it is. So they're like little bitty, like individual servings. I'm super excited about them. Again, I don't know where I'm gonna plant them. I might just throw a bunch of weed barrier out and plant them in the middle of that because I don't want to dig through the grass when I'm trying to harvest them. And then we have, these are rich sweetness melons. Let me get on this side. They had amazing germination, and they're just like little individual melons that you can eat with the skin. The skin is really nice. So I'm super excited about those. More giant marigolds, super excited about the giant. I had amazing germination on these. These were part of my seed swap, by the way. So I got a seed swap that goes on, starts in October. These are Brad's Atomic Grape. These were seeds that I saved last year. Had amazing germination, probably too good. This is what's left over that I haven't transplanted yet. So you can imagine all of the other plants that are here were in this bread pan, this tiny bread pan. And I separated out a bunch of them, and they're taking off and doing great. And I still haven't gotten to these ones. I need to just get another pan and just get it done. I hate to throw away seedlings that have sprouted. It seems mean, like shouldn't they have a chance? Give them a chance, right? Even if I'm just giving them away to somebody, which I might end up doing. Let me turn around and show you the trellis. This is the trellis that you walk into my backyard from. That's Cat Jingles. He got shaved down already. And so I've got long beans that I'm gonna plant and the rich sweetness melons that they will be crawling on this trellis. That's the only trellis I have right now. And then off to the side here, here's my clematis. I've transplanted one of them. They were in wooden, well, this one still is, and those two are wooden beds that have just rotted out after 2 years. And look how happy he is, though. He'd be a lot happier if he wasn't overrun with weeds like he is. So this guy, I accidentally cut off. He had a main branch that had some flowers up there, and I accidentally cut it off when I was transplanting. So, but these are good. Clematis are amazing. They thrive in heat, so I'm sure that they will take off, and we will have plenty of flowers for the rest of the season. I have 3 living plants. This guy's barely living. He's so sad, but look how overrun he is, and that's just because of the type of bed that I had, and I didn't put enough cardboard in the bottom. Now I'm using weed barrier. I'm not messing around. I do not want any weeds in my beds anymore, so I'm actually using Viva brand weed barrier and putting it under my beds now. Let's go look at the main garden. You guys, look how amazing that is. I am loving these 2x4 beds. I love that I don't have to reach over. I've got them separated enough that you can run a mower through there. I'm gonna cut off all that weed barrier. But this is an old bed that I had for years, and I finally put it together. And I just thought it would be funny to have a little Mr. Bones there, and I'm gonna plant onions and garlic and whatnot in his bones, kind of representing, you know, the circle of life. I think it's so funny. It makes me smile every time I see him. But let's walk over to this other garden area. This is my main garden. I did not have all these beds last year. All I had was that little arch over there that I just showed you. I'm doing a big expansion because of the state of the world today. I bought all of these. You can get these on TikTok Shop or Amazon. If you go to, there's a link in my description. You can find it there and you can purchase those. This one was also on Amazon, but I think doesn't exist anymore. That's an Althea plant. I just transplanted her. My loofah are gonna go here and they will climb up on the fencing there. So excited about that. Other things I'm gonna plant along the fence, probably some okra, tomatoes. We do get a lot of wind here, so I really need things that wouldn't normally need support, do need support, like okra. And let me turn back around. As far as these arches, that is for you know, like bug barrier or shade cloth. It's just a piece of rebar and some plumbing pipe that I've put over them. Super easy to make. I've got some tulle that I put over, and then I put some clippies on it. These are my bird feeders. I've got like 6 or 7 of them. I will be putting them either against this fence here and zip tying them up. Or, you know, put this one I can push into the ground. This one's kind of broken, and I'll be zip tying to the fence. Nothing, there's nothing in this. The dirt I got from the city, and it was $33 for a cubic yard. A cubic yard would fill 4 of these beds. So $33 for this amazing garden soil that's just so loamy and smooth. It's so great. And then I have over here, I just purchased some horse manure and from somebody off of Facebook. So I'm mixing just a little bit of horse manure into the top 1 inch of this amazing compost, which I'll probably be getting more of. Honestly, I love it so much. Let me show you the beds in the front yard. You guys, this is going to be an amazing year. I don't think that I planted enough seedlings for the beds that I have. I really kind of overestimated how much, or underestimated, I underestimated how much room I was gonna have. I just kept buying beds. I just kept thinking, I need to expand, I need to expand. And so I have all these beds and now they're full, and I'm looking at my seedlings. I'm like, I did not plan to grow. Like, I don't have the seedlings for this. So I definitely will still be planting up until the next couple weeks. Our last frost was April 22nd. So we've already passed that. And I was planning on waiting till May 1st to put stuff in, but it looks like I'm gonna go ahead. I was just trying to be especially cautious, but I'm gonna go ahead and put those, start planting stuff, especially those squash that are just dying to get in the ground. If I, you know, if they're for my own personal garden, I'm gonna go ahead and put them in the ground. Let me show you the beds I have in the front. One's great, the other one's not so great. So I have 2 identical beds with these blocks. The blocks were on the property when I got here. I just repurposed them. I didn't intentionally buy these blocks to make 2 round beds. But this one is completely overgrown, and I tried to dig it up yesterday. That was impossible. So I really need to water it down before I dig it up. But what my idea was to have lettuce in both of these. This is the north facing wall. You can see it's mostly shaded throughout the day. And this will just be a great place for lettuces. So got this bed. This is full of compost. Obviously I need to take this down. There was 2 buckets left when I was emptying my son's truck. Had to get creative, or I was gonna have to dump it on the driveway and remove it. So I didn't want to do that. And I knew this dirt was gonna go in that bed. So I thought I'll just dump it here, and then sometime in the future, maybe today, we'll see what I prioritize. Because I have to move 2 clematis still, and I have to move, well, and I probably 3. I need to take all of them out, honestly. And I want to plant my seedlings, and I want to dig that bed up, and I want to, let's go look at the donation garden. I've been wanting to pull that tarp back. It's actually a billboard vinyl. It was like $80. It was such a good deal. And it's been on there since December, I think. That grass should be dead. The plan is sometime around the first week of May to rent a giant rototiller and till it up, and then put down weed barrier and plant that donation garden. But I've been really curious about how dead the grass is, so let's take a look. I just held this down with some bricks I had. We had a fire pit here that we never used, so I just disassembled that and put them here. So let's take a look. Oh, I love this so much. Look at that dirt. You can see the dirt. There's no grass. I love it. So my thought is, what we'll do is rototill this whole area. I'll come through with the rake and pull up all the dead grass, right? And then just as a, I don't even know that I'm gonna have to, honestly. I mean, it's very dead. That's not to say if I left it uncovered for 3 days, it would probably be 3 feet tall, but, and then cover it with weed barrier. And then just, you know, how people burn the holes in there to plant their plants. That is what I am thinking. This is so much space. I am so excited about this, and I can't wait to start posting on Facebook and saying, hey, I have all this free food, you guys, come get it. Or I can work with our local food bank, they'll come pick it. Or I can, the Springfield Community Gardens has a great system where they have like free refrigerators around town. just ask them if I can drop the food by. We have a lot of issues with food scarcity here in my city. So I'm happy to help contribute to that. I, help people eat. I have a lot of land. I have 7 acres, you guys. This is the top 3 up here with the house, the shop, the house is behind me. And then if you walk down here, there's another 4 acres down there. Now, something I'm doing with this area over here is putting in a flower garden. I have 2 more giant billboard vinyls down there to kill. Again, I'm gonna put the weed barrier. I'm gonna plant the sunflowers. It's only sunflowers this year. I'm just getting started. Next year, we will have other flowers, and it's gonna be a you pick flower farm. Just the honor system. Come in, pick your flowers, and give, whatever. I'm gonna suggest an amount, but obviously it's the honor system, and I'm gonna take what I can because it's gonna be so low maintenance out there that hopefully I can just enjoy it. I just wanna go out, enjoy some flowers, and let other people enjoy some flowers. Okay, let's cover this back up. What I don't wanna do is let the grass grow before we're ready. And this is what the billboard looks like on the backside. Celebrating 45 years of service. We're rock solid, whoever this is, whoever they are. Thanks for ordering a billboard. And then we got your used billboard vinyl. This thing is tough. I can see years and years of use from this. That's the plan. And to get more every year. Even this year, we're trying to remediate our land. Our land was originally hardwood trees. And so it's something called fragipan, which is not really conducive to growing food, right? It grows hardwood trees really well. And we had the Department of Conservation come out, and they said, oh, you could, make a fake flower prairie, basically. So we've been looking at different ways of remediating it. I would like to build up topsoil, so we've talked about different ways to do that. So we will be planting some sort of cover crop. I'm thinking daikon radish. I would like to plant just random sunflowers, just by like bird seed sunflower, and plant those, just throw it out. It will do something to add to the topsoil, right? Especially if we just mow it down and rototill it back in, and cover it with a tarp and start again next year. It's going to help improve the topsoil. It's just a lot of clay, and not a clay that can be easily amended. So it will take years to fix it, but we're on that path, and I'm happy about it. And then, we're gonna grow food as well, and we'll have a flower farm as well. So we have a lot of plans for this land. Let's talk about the seeds that I just bought. Oh wait, before we go inside, look at my potato starts. So this was a bag of potatoes I bought at the store. In fact, I think I still have some in there that I meant to start. Maybe I'll get them started, or maybe I'll plant them direct when I plant these guys. And I saw this on a TikTok guy named Horticulture, and he started his potatoes in little baskets like this, and then he transplanted them out later. And I thought that was a brilliant idea because you could start them in sooner. And then which ones sprouted, and you're not wasting space. These are sweet potatoes. I grew these sweet potatoes last year. And I picked them in October of last year. They stayed in my pantry. And then I cut the slips off. Look at, we have a ladybug. So I cut these slips off of these sweet potatoes that I grew last year. And look at them. They're already, they've gotten really long. It wasn't this long when I put it in there. And they've already have tons of roots. I see at least one other slip that I should pull off of there. This is how you create food security, you guys. Saving seeds, saving your root vegetables to start over again. Let's go look at the fun seeds that I just got. I have those clematis that I just transplanted, and I realized that they just had these giant beds now, and they really needed something to take the place. And I can't just leave it empty. So I got some fun stuff. So this is my table. I need to move it over into the corner, but this is the table I'm working at. Look at this. I love these. I've had these before, Orchid Cream. They are much prettier in person. These are nasturtium, so they will grow. They kind of trail a little bit. They get about 12 inches tall and they trail a little bit. I'm going to plant them on the edges so that they can grow over the edges, and it'll be so pretty. I need to find something, maybe snaps or something that can go between the clematis and these, because there's plenty of room in those 2x2s, those 2-foot circles. This is another nasturtium. Have not seen these in real life, but look how pretty they are. I just love it. I love that contrast, just like these ones. I love the contrast. So I'm super excited about these as well. I do have another pack inside that's just the regular, I think they called California blend or something, of nasturtium that are just like melon type colors. These were the free seeds I got from Baker Creek. As I said, I'm going to go ahead and replant these because the other ones just didn't germinate. And then I got some cosmos. And depending on, you know what, these might go. Let's see, how tall do these get? Seed depth plant spacing, 10 inches apart. How tall do they get? It doesn't say. These might work in front of those clematis. Like I could do these at the front of the bed, these in the middle of the bed. Apricot lemonade cosmos. I've had these before and they're amazing. I love the colors. I have not had these before, but I love, again, the contrast of these with the red and white stripes. I just expect that these are going to be so much prettier in person too. I've been really focusing on food security this year. There's a lot going on in the world today that has me a little nervous. Not because I think, you know, the end of the world is coming. It's not like that. But I do feel like our food's going to get expensive. I'll just say that. And I had a decent sized garden. I remember a couple years ago, I set a challenge for myself to bring in 300 pounds of food for the season. It was supposed to be like a challenge because I was in town on a small lot, right? And I did it. I brought in the 300 pounds. It was a lot of work, especially since I was, you know, growing a bunch of stuff that I wasn't used to. But this year, I'm really trying to set some big goals as well. I would suspect I could easily, especially with the donation garden. Let's put the donation garden away because I think we're going to get tons of food, obviously. But just from this garden, I wouldn't be surprised if I got 500 pounds of food this year. And then I have to process it. That I recognize that it's a privilege to have the time to be able to do this. Gardening can be a full-time job. It doesn't have to be. I mean, there are ways to make it easier, like I'm going to put a watering system in. But again, you have to have the money to be able to do that. As I go through that process of setting up this brand new garden, I'm going to be sharing those tips with you of what I'm doing to make the day-to-day work a little easier. I showed you the beds that I have. I feel like those are a great value. I paid the same for one of those beds. Those beds are about $25 a piece today, April of 2026, as wood. If I were to price out wood to make something similar, it would be the same price. And the wood is going to fail you after 2 years. It's going to start rotting out. Even if it's pressure treated, you just can't have wood full of dirt and expect it to stand. So I'm doing that. I'm getting a watering system that anybody can set up off of Amazon. I'll show you when I set that up. The other thing that I'm being really diligent about is using my garden journal. This is a journal that I made to keep me on track. I had been just buying journals, regular everyday journals that you use. This is the one that I love, and trying to adapt them to gardening, right? So, you know, I would write the information I wanted, but it didn't have specific places to put what was your harvest, what types of pests have you seen, did you water? In fact, I'll just show you this garden journal real quick. Okay, so Wednesday, April 22nd, 2 days past my last frost date, tells me what to do. I'm hardening off my plants, which you saw. Set up my trellises, I've done that. Spray beneficial nematodes, have not done that yet, but I'm glad it's reminding me. Here's the things that I should start outdoors right now. I might end up starting a lettuce again because my transplants don't look too happy. Here's what I did that day on Wednesday. So I wrote down everything that I did. I also should have marked down whether I watered, it rained. Here you would, maybe put how many inches you got, whether I saw any pests. I might put here that I saw a ladybug today and whether I fertilized. Now in my other beds that I just planted, I did top them with horse manure. So I should include that. Now, any amendments that I make to any of the other beds, like I will write down that I put the beneficial nematodes when I get those. You got to put that in your garden journal. And because there's a special place to do it, and because it's reminding me to do it, that means I'm going to be more successful with my garden this year. When I set up my timer for my watering, I will write, I set it to water at this time for this long. It used this many gallons. If I go, if I fertilize with the water, so I'd like to use a bucket and then, put the solar water system in there and be able to amend in the bucket. I will write that in my planner. Last couple years ago, I even had a personal printer where I would print off pictures, the progress of my plants, and they were like little tiny 2x3 stickers, and I would put them inside my planner. Wish I had saved some of those because that was nice. And that was amazing to look back the next year and say, I remember one year I looked back and I was like, I thought we had tomatoes by now. What's going on? I had done everything the same and I thought I was losing my mind. And sure enough, I pulled out my old journal and I had pictures of tomatoes I had harvested. So I need to get another little personal printer so that I can start doing this with this planner because it's so nice. And I'm not great at organizing pictures on my phone. So that's not going to work for me. I know a lot of people are really good about that and they can organize their stuff. Not on my phone. Nope. If I get a whim, I just delete everything. So, so that's not going to work for me. So that's what I'm using. I'm using the garden journal. Do you guys have a garden journal you prefer? Are you just scribbling things down on a piece of paper? Because I kind of used that method for a while. Are you just trying to remember? Have you adapted a different journal that you've used? This garden journal comes with a bunch of stuff. There's like a dream building thing. At the end of the month, there's a monthly reflection, which I'll be doing soon. And I'll talk to you guys about that, where you talk about all the things that happen good in your journal or in your garden, things you wish you could improve so you can improve moving forward. Like, oh, I wish I had remembered that I have a grasshopper problem. I'll never forget I have a grasshopper problem. We're also getting chickens, by the way. So the chicken coop is almost done. Since we moved here, we have plague level grasshoppers. They're bad. They eat everything. And we know chickens will help keep that down. So the plan is to get a bunch of chickens. I don't know how I'm going to keep them out of the garden. That's a problem for future me. But that is the plan right now, is to, within the next couple weeks, get a bunch of chickens. Eric wants 6 chickens. I want 30 chickens. So of course we're getting 30 chickens. And we're getting everything automated out there with a chicken door. When I figure out which one we have, because Eric bought it, I'll put that in the link in the description as well, so you guys can find it if it's something you're interested in. The season's coming along, guys. I'm so excited. This is going to be my biggest garden ever, my best season ever. The fruit of my work will be appreciated more than ever because I think that the prices are going to skyrocket, and so I'm really motivated to get it done, to do really well in the garden and then start preserving stuff too. I tried canning a million years ago and I hated it, but it was an old style. I think I'm going to get an electric canner this year and start canning stuff. I have been using the super cubes and freezing stuff. You just make an extra little bit at for your meals and then you freeze it. That's been super. We love it so much. It's been great for, nights we don't want to cook or whatever. So anyways, what are you guys doing? Are you expanding your garden? Do you feel like the price of food is going to go up? Are you feeling a little bit preppy? Are you wanting to prep a little bit? That's what I'm feeling. I'm feeling like, where's my bucket of beans? I want to get a bucket of beans just in case. Are you guys feeling that urge to kind of be ready for anything at any moment? And mostly, are you expanding your garden? I've seen some people are, but I'd really love to hear from you guys what you're doing in your garden. Are you growing for productivity? Are you growing for sustainability? Are you growing stuff that'll keep and store really well? Let me know in the comments.